Hey, welcome to another episode of Midnight Oil Motorsports. My name's Ian. Thanks for stopping by. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the channel. This won't be one of my usual videos, but that's what the channel's for. Give it a click and go check out another one. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Thanks. Anyways, today we're working on my 1991 Mazda Miata. It's been a constant project on the channel. Not going to be a usual video today because, well, normally I'm teaching something, or at least making an attempt to. If you enjoy learning, great. If you don't enjoy learning, this video might be for you. Just going to be a montage of me working on a couple panels, because we kind of got to get some stuff done. It's currently late Friday night, very late in fact. You can see it's dark outside. But this weekend I'm really just trying to pump some stuff out and get some more stuff in primer. Really trying to get these two bigger panels, the passenger side rocker and the passenger side quarter panel, all in primer, so that hopefully all the bigger pieces will finally be done with primer. Smaller pieces like that fender and the rear bumper, well, I can do those after work one day and just kind of pump them out on my own time. So, again, thanks for stopping by. Hope you like the content. Let's get after it. Alright, so before we continue, well, you'll see it in the video anyways. In fact, you probably saw it in one of my other videos. This quarter panel, I cut out way too much when I put the wide body kit on. So, I know, I screwed up. This is what it is. A lot of YouTubers won't show when they screw up, but me, oh yeah, I screwed up big time. Anyways, made my bed, so I laid in it. Made up a whole custom patch here to fill all this space, so water doesn't get behind the quarter and fry a bunch of stuff. So, yeah, you're gonna see me stripping this and the rocker. You're gonna see me taking most of this Bondo off. You're gonna see me redoing some of the Bondo work and possibly even re-welding some things. I don't know how good my welds were 6-7 years ago, but at this point, they've held on just fine. So I'm probably just gonna leave them. Yeah, probably. But if I can grind them down and be able to use less Bondo, that's probably for the better here. So, yep. Just thought I'd address that. These plastic pieces, most likely gonna break. They do make reproduction ones, and they are 30 years old, so I would not be surprised. That one didn't break. Look at that. Woo. Okay, so it's the next day. This is gonna be Saturday, and we're back out in the garage. This is where we left off last night. I haven't really touched much of the quarter panel yet, and I am using a hair sander to sand everything down. Now, why is that? Because I don't really know what's underneath here. I know there's some Bondo work here. I know there's some here, and then there's probably a little bit still up here, as you can see. But I didn't just want to strip it all off because I know some of it is worth keeping. Like right here is pretty good. In fact, this section's gonna get covered up pretty much anyways. I really only have to focus around here, which I screwed up on a little bit, but you know, it is what it is. This is bodywork again I did when I was 17. Maybe I can throw some pictures up of when I did do it. But the cool thing is here is that a lot of it isn't bad. A lot of it is just actually pushed out, and the reason being for that is because I was sanding all of this by hand. I had no palm sanders. I had no air compressor. All of this was done just by hand. Me just taking a block, a sanding block, and a piece of Harbor Freight sanding paper, going to town. And I don't think I used anything even close to 80 grit. I think I was probably using 180 or 200 or something, and way too less of a grit. Anyways, yeah, so you can tell right down here we're back down to OEM finish. All of this is just, you know, the rock guard and everything else. Some of these white spots that are poking through here, these are all prep for the rock guard before it goes on, or it could also just be part of the rock guard. I'm not really too sure, because with stuff I'm familiar with is black and not white. So anyways, we're gonna start on the quarter panel. I'm probably gonna end up grinding all of this off. I know there's a weld, I believe it's right here, and there's some, you can see there's a little bit of corrosion going on right here. So I might grind this all off, I might not. I'm going to start to sand this back and see what it reveals, because as of right now it's pretty smooth. There's a low spot right here. Actually, you can see it because this is still primer in these spots that I've yet to touch, because there's a mark right here and then right here too. So I was just going to take some Bondo and smooth it out, but I think what I'm going to end up doing is just taking most of this off and then probably redoing it, because it's not really that big of an area anyways. I do remember, funnily enough, I do remember 7 years ago that I did weld this on a little bit wrong. This is the first patch I did, and it is pushed out just, I mean, I'm gonna say in back, it's probably pushed out maybe about 1/8 of an inch, and then so it is over here. So I think that might be what this low spot is right here. And then there's some corrosion, like I said, here. So I'm gonna start sanding this down, and we're gonna see what it reveals. Okay, so we've got the over fender test fit on again. We've got the quarter panel either down to the first base coat or the first color coat. It's down this far because I really just want to get all of the other paint off and primers. I could take the time, strip it down to metal, but there's still some old filler work on here that I really kind of want to still use some of it in order to protect the welds underneath it. That being said, there was a section down here underneath the over fender that I had to re-weld because 17-year-old me was not the greatest welder, and the welder I had definitely was not the greatest welder either. So fired up the Hobart, welded on that patch, or weld that patch on a couple places that it cracked. It's also for me hammering on it when I had to make the inner wheel well there. But it looks like most of the old filler work here is going to cover up the welds. I just need to smooth a couple sections right here and right here. You just smooth that out a little bit, and then down here I can pretty much leave. This is all smooth. There's a little bit of a lip here from the welds that I did when I first put this this patch down here on, but really it's not too bad. The other spots though kind of suck because these are holes that were drilled for an old over fender kit, and again I'll see if I can find a picture of it when I took it off the car. They were drilled all along the seams there. Now, I knew the patches were there, obviously. I knew those holes were there, right? I knew I was going to have to do some Bondo work. Now, the question is, why didn't I replace this quarter, but replace that one? Well, that one had a basketball-sized dent in it that I decided to fill, right? And this one was pretty good. It just had a little bit of Bondo work on it that I'm going to have to work on. So, other than that, down here, I didn't talk about this yet, but there's a patch that I welded in here, which is great, but there's still some slight pitting around it, so I'm going to use the rust mort from SEM, and then put all that on there, let that sit overnight, and then put some metal glaze over it because just to smooth it out. So, but other than that, this metal is still pretty good. I was able to take a scope. I should have recorded that. I was able to take a scope and put it from behind. There's a hole here, and then you can put a camera down there and take a look. It's still good metal underneath, so that's all good. Got all my door jamb area prepped, ready to go. I like to get all this blue stuff off here, but blue and primer, but one, it's good, right? Like, I can't scratch this off. I tried my best here to actually try to scratch all this off, or scratch some of this off to see if there was any adhesion problems, and there's not, which is good. So I'm just gonna leave it, and it's in the door jamb. So this is the most important part, because this is where you're gonna scrape your feet when you get in, if you don't lift them up high enough, but the car's gonna be low. So, but if you scrape your feet, this will also be scuffed up pretty good. This area, I'm not really too worried about. This area, it's gonna be blocked by the door. Again, not worried about it. So now it's time for Bondo work and a little bit of rust mort down there. Let's do it. Okay, so here's what we got. Pretty nice and smooth. Our transition on our metal is very, very good, right? There's a little bit of a low spot right here, okay? I can tell that because the way it is. Other than that, it's pretty good. So, you can also see there's a little bit of a low spot. It's probably hard to see here. Let me grab a flashlight. Is that better? No. No. Maybe? No. Okay, anyways, you're gonna have to take my word for it. There's a little bit of a gap right here, okay? And there's this rivet hole that's right here. If I push it in, it's going to be fine. It's gonna sit flush. This is a little warped right here. Not too big of a deal. Just a little bit. It's right by our low spot. I might do... excuse me. It's very late at night. It's about 11:30, midnight. But it's a little bit of a low spot right there. So I might do one more layer. Other than that, this whole section right here is looking pretty good. Very, very happy with it. I'm happy with how it turned out. And I know that when I did this quarter panel and this section, it took me days when I was a lot younger. And the fact that I have one, more knowledge, and two, the right tools, make this way easier. So yeah, I'm gonna keep working. I'm gonna see how far I can get here with what I got done. It's only Saturday night. I'm gonna paint everything that I can, or paint, I say paint. I'm gonna prime everything I can Sunday. So hopefully I'm gonna do the inside of the door jamb. I'm gonna do the rocker, the quarter panel. I'm gonna see how much of, whoops the daisies. Oh, that's gonna come up bad. I'm gonna see how much of the trunk I can get done right here. So we're gonna do this gutter. We might be able to do some of this, some of this top section up here, maybe some of this behind the finished panel. Because behind the finished panel and everything right there, that doesn't really need to be anything fantastic, right? This just needs to be either black or the same color. And just get off all this spray paint and this plastic dip. This plastic dip is pretty bad, but this spray paint, you can tell they didn't even prep or anything. I mean, this stuff just chips right off when you scratch it with your nails. So, that's a long-winded way of saying I'm gonna keep working until the point of exhaustion. And then I'm gonna go inside, sleep, hang out with the wife till she goes to work, and come right the heck back out here so I can get some primer on. Let's do it. All right, so it's next day, Sunday. So that means we need to have everything primered by the end of the day today, hopefully. So what do I have left to do? Well, we got this section pretty much done. I need like one more layer of Bondo right here, or body filler right here. I need to just smooth this out, let that sit for 24 hours so that I can now go over that with other stuff. And what I didn't record last night is I took some sandpaper, scuffed the inside of the gutters all the way around. So I just need to strip this, get all the weather strip adhesive off of here, and then do the rear body. And then after that's all done, it's pretty much ready for primer for this whole thing. We'll see how far I get. I might not be able to do the rear body and everything today, but we'll see. So let's get into it. Time waits for no one. I need to be in bed by 7 o'clock today. That won't happen, but that's kind of the goal. So let's do it. All right, well, rear body panel, around the edges, around the tail lamp pocket, and the upper deck lid piece, parcel shelf, doodad, I don't know what you call that, but, and the gutters. All good. All ready for paint. Or paint. Primer. You wouldn't want to paint over this. This would look disgusting. Anyways, problem is, I'm running out of time. So I think what I'm going to do is just prep everything. Or not prep, but mask everything up. So all I got to do tomorrow is just prep it and paint it. So yeah, let's do it. Okay, so earlier in this video I said that I need to have this primed and ready to go by Sunday night because I don't want to sit. So anyways, it's Monday and here we are, ready to go pretty much. I need to just wipe everything with some wax and grease remover, and I'll scuff up a little area down yonder that I missed. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna time lapse through this because I've taken way too much footage, and probably not everyone wants to see this part. But I've primed stuff a whole bunch of times. If you like seeing it, that's great. If you don't, then you know, fast forward to the end or whatever. But this is my favorite part, so I'm gonna get to this. I got a limited time. I need to get to bed at a decent time because I was out here till about 10:30 last night and I'm still not done. This takes a while. Just remember that. This does take a while. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so the GoPro died, but we wiped the whole car down, then wiped it down again. And then all the panels you see from the outside, right? The rockers. I even did the door jam because it was easy. Top there, the whole quarter. I went over a third time. Now, why did I do that? One, not a full production body shop, so I can take my time and do this. Two, because I was still getting my rag a little bit dirty, right? You can see just a little bit there. When you're wiping stuff off, the rag should be about as blue as it started, right? That's why I like using the shop towels. Shop towels red, specifically, because the red very easily shows. Very, very easily. Now you're going to get a little bit of bleed through because it is red, but good rule of thumb is if it's still red, there's still dust on there, and just keep wiping until it still looks blue. So, well, this all starts to dry here. I'm gonna set up my exhaust fan. I'm gonna mix up some primer, which is in that cabinet, set up my gun, and let's get to spraying. Very excited to get all this done in one go. We'll see how it comes out. I am a little nervous because I feel like I did too much in one go, but worst comes to worst, if it turns out like crap, one, it's primer, so it's gonna get sanded anyways. And two, if I don't like it, I can always just sand it all back and do it again, right? If I need a little more filler work, then I can do it after primer too. So anyways, yeah, let's get to it. Here's a pro tip. I don't know if I've shown on camera yet, but these mixers are super nice from Amazon. They're like 25 bucks each. Compared to the metal ones, they are pretty much the same, except plastic, right? So you just gotta be more careful with them. Body shops will have these shelves you slot into, and then they stir. Well, I'm not a body shop, so the cool thing you can do is just hook up a drill to the top of one. They give you this little hand crank normally, right? It indexes in there, and you just take this and spin it around, and that index is on there. So what I do though to speed up the process, take a drill, put on like a low setting, and just stir it like this. You can go a little bit faster as it gets more and more mixed, but you just don't want to, you don't want to heat up the plastic too much from going too quick. So yeah, just a tech tip. All right, so I'm done priming. In fact, I was done priming last weekend. So, I never did an outro, but it was kind of intentional because I realized I really only have the rear bumper, the driver's side door jamb, and the rear bumper finished. So I may as well just throw that all in this video and, just kind of time lapse it. You guys have seen me prime the entire rest of the car, so if you would like to learn from that, then watch one of the previous videos. I could go over it again, but I'm sure some of you who are following along are kind of tired of it by now. So let's just get right into it, right? Well, actually, before I do that, all this, all prepped, or not all prepped, but all primered, ready to be blocked. It actually came out really good. The only issue that I can see is that I went a little bit light right here, but I'm not really too worried about it. Okay, so after about 20 minutes, I found out two things. One, this fender, the bottom, is entirely filled with Bondo. Nice. I didn't do that. And then there's a gigantic dent right here that you probably can't see, but I promise you it's about the length of this finger. It's huge. That was cool. And the other thing is I just ruined this fender. How did I do that? Well, the surface conditioner caught the edge and then completely just baconed this. I mean, you could see Up, down, ruined. So now I have to find 2 new fenders. That really bites, but it is what it is, I guess. All right, so it's the next day, and we got everything all masked up, and we got the bumper on the stand. I did a bumper cut last night because I got bored, and didn't make a video on it because I'm not very comfortable on doing that. But yeah, to pretty much go over it, it's a bunch of measuring. Just use your heart around to the edges, because why not? And I need to get this edge in primer because it's just bare plastic, so it makes sense to have the bumper like this on the stand as opposed to the other direction, because then that edge would be sitting on here, which would then mean I can't get primer on there. Anyways, yep, that's all prepped. That's all prepped. This is all prepped. So let's wipe it down with some Prep-Sol. Let's get to priming. All right, folks, well, that's a wrap on priming, because we got our last section here done. Came out pretty decent, kind of hard to see. I've got the bumper baking in the oven right now. Going pretty good, not like too crazy about it. Yeah, you can see like up here the body line is kind of uneven, but again, I mean, there was about 8 or 9 layers of paint on that thing, so it was pretty hard to do. So what does this mean? It means now I can start blocking. And for those playing at home, what is blocking? Well, primer, when you lay it down, since primer is very thick, it doesn't come out as smooth as what paint would. So you gotta sand it down a little bit. You start with something a little more aggressive, like a 400, and then you work your way up to probably about an 800. Now I'm going to be using a 2K urethane sealer before I paint, so I don't need to go as crazy as 800, but here's the sealer color. Got me some gray, and it's Omni MP Michael Paul 235. And then that also uses this catalyst, the Michael Henry 283 undercoat hardener. Now, what that does is it pretty much preps the surface that I'm painting to make it super sticky so that the paint lays on really, really nice. So anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Blocking, since primer isn't exactly flat, and you can actually see from when I go back over to this bumper that there is a little bit of texture to it, right? And if you paint over that texture, what's going to happen is it's not going to come out smooth. You're going to get orange peel, and there's nothing you can do about it, because if you start sanding it back, you're just going to end up going to primer, or actually in my case it would be sealer. So pretty much yeah, that's what we're doing next. Whole lot more sanding. Now it's all by hand, so it's going to be quite a bit of work, but we're going to get this done. So now I think it's muted for this video. I'm sorry, it's gonna be another long one for those watching. If you watch the whole thing, this is just kind of a me just going through the motions. But glad I got all this primer done. I'm gonna have to redo my fenders, like I said, because the one baconed and the other one is full of Bondo, so I don't really want to deal with that. And yeah, so call it a wrap. Thanks for tuning in. Again, sorry it's a longer one, but we get through it and we get to learn something new next video. So thanks for watching. If you liked the episode, give it a like. If you really liked the video, consider subscribing, because it really brings me joy when I get more subscribers. If you dislike the video, just give it a dislike. And if you have any questions, well, I go over it in other videos, but if you'd like to ask me directly, just throw it down in the comments. So, with all that being said, go out, work on your projects. Remember, no one's gonna work on your car unless you do, or if you pay someone else to do it. But where's the fun in that? So, get out, burn that midnight oil. Later.